Welcome to Shawn and Carter Have a Podcast. My name is Shawn.
I'm Carter.
And I was playing Portal 2 yesterday, Carter. I have a little story to tell you.
Tell me.
I decided I wanted to get into the custom maps for Portal 2. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I wanted to solicit our little community of map builders, because I know we have plenty of people who build maps for Minecraft in our listening audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently those people do not play Portal 2, or if they do, they did not send me anything. So I just went into the Steam Workshop and I started looking around myself. And there's this guy, his name's Carl Kenner, and he's developed a couple maps for Portal 2. And among them are the first two levels of the first Doom game.
STFU. Really?
Really.
That's awesome.
And what he did, because when you think about the first levels of Doom, you're not going to be like, oh, there's obviously a portal puzzle waiting to be... He just completely ignored, like, he did not try and make a puzzle out of it. It is just the Doom level, and anywhere where there would be a bad guy, there's a turret. And you just have to use portals and your own smarts to get around the level. And I went through this level, I wasn't even thinking like, oh, this is going to be super nostalgic for me. I'm going to be remembering everything. And then it happened. I remembered every single secret in the first level, and I remembered half of the secrets in the second level. And I was just like instantly transported back to my 12-year-old self with a 3.5-inch floppy disk, because that's what I got the shareware version of Doom on. And I was like, this is so surreal. He took all the textures, ported them into the game. He took that MIDI file that is the backing track for the level, put that in the game. It's just awesome.
So I think it would be a little weird that you don't have the UI. Was that strange that you didn't have the bar?
I just felt like I was in a portalarized version, like
high def, cinematic version of Doom.
Yeah, basically it looks exactly the same. I will link dump this guy's levels in the YouTube video. You can see from the picture of it, it's just like looking at Doom. It looks exactly like it, except that, like you said, no UI, no angry guy in the middle of your screen.
I'm always so impressed, but you know, companies like Valve or people, to give credit to Notch and the Mojang team, people who make kind of open-y platforms like Minecraft, where people can kind of do their own thing. That's such a great asset for the internet community in terms of like people doing really creative projects. I love stuff like that. That's like the good part of the internet, the like 1% of the internet that's not like porn and racism and all this stuff on 4chan.
Oh, you can't mention them, man. You can't talk about them.
I know.
Now they'll come here. Yeah, it actually it feels like it kind of comes full circle, because Doom was one of the very first games that I ever knew of that you could download custom maps for, that people made. Like, you could go get a .wad file from some anonymous server somewhere that would just be like a corridor that was a mile long that you would have to walk down and like defeat 200 imps or something.
Yeah. I was talking with Shawn before we started recording. I've played Doom, but I was into a Doom clone, Dark Forces, and they had just as active a map making community, and there were some really epically awesome maps. I think one of them was a very faithful recreation of Princess Leia's spaceship from Star Wars.
Oh, very nice.
That was something that they did a lot.
That's like in Minecraft, the guy who made the Next Generation, or the Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. People would do that in as a map in for Dark Forces, and it's just like, that's so cool, that's so creative. Like figuring out how to use the textures to accomplish that, and trying to be faithful when it is a lot like Minecraft, trying to be faithful when you have to deal with like these blocks that are a certain size, and it's just very, very creative. Another one that's awesome. This makes me want to like get a PC out and like get Dark Forces in all my old maps. One is a Star Destroyer bridge. And it's just like, I am on a Star Destroyer bridge. This is so cool. We always go down memory lane with this video game stuff, Shawn. It's like inevitable.
Yeah, I was live streaming the other day, and people ask me constantly, like, have have you played this game? Are you playing this game? Have you played this game? And they're always asking about games that came out in the last 6 months or whatever. And I'm always like, no. I haven't played any of those games. All I play are the things that you see me play on my channels and everything that came out 15 years ago.
Yes.
I just keep playing Half-Life over and over again. That's all I do.
So, speaking of video games, do you know what I did this week, Sean?
I don't know what you did.
I downloaded Psychonauts because I was so inspired by your series.
Good, you should.
Buy it. I'm playing it right now. I'm further along than you are, so.
You don't know how far I am. I'm up to episode 15.
Yeah. I'm further along than you can see on the internet right now.
Gotcha.
I kind of like that game. I have some criticisms, though. Maybe when you're done, we can talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Once you really start getting your psychic abilities, the game kind of transforms. Like, at the beginning, you don't realize how powerful you're going to become. It's like that Mega Man thing. Like, when you pick up all these abilities, suddenly you can explore the world in a way that you didn't realize you could when you started.
Yeah, good games do that. I'm thinking, did you play the Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast? The Dark Forces franchise is like the weirdest names.
Because it's like Dark Forces 3, Jedi Knight 2.
Yeah, it's. Did you play the one where you're Kyle Katarn and you have to get your Jedi powers back?
No,
that one. You have, maybe like 6 force powers or 8 force powers or something, and then as the game goes on, you go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. And when you're at level 1, you're like, oh, I can jump a little bit higher than I could before. But when you're at level 3, it's like you can jump over buildings.
You're Superman.
Yes, it's like you get the Force Lightning at level 1, and it's sort of like, oh, did you see a spark come out of his hand or something? I thought I saw a spark. And with level 3, you can just destroy an entire room of stormtroopers. Just like, boom, you're done.
Yeah, that's one of the many games that I have in my Steam library that I've been ignoring.
That's a good game. I like that one. That's the best Dark Forces game.
I played the hell out of Jedi Knight when it came out. That was the only one that I really played a lot.
Yeah, I like that one. I have some.
It's hard to look at it. Like, I tried to play a little bit of it the other day, and well, not the other day, a couple months ago, and the graphics, man.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's horrible. I would rather
it's
play
so bad.
Dark Forces.
Yeah, I think I would too.
And also Dark Forces, I think there's more plot to Jedi Knight, certainly.
Yeah, you get those full screen video sequences with the actors and stuff.
Oh man, remember when video games used to do that though? Jeez.
The Command and Conquer series did that really well.
It's like, oh, we have CD-ROMs now. It's like, oh, we can put stuff on here, and they didn't.
Billy
really
D. Williams is in one of the Command and Conquer titles, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. When they moved from discs from floppy disks to CDs, these game engines weren't really good enough to render something on your computer in real time. So they're like, well, what do we do? Well, let's just put let's put a cutscene in there. The birth of cutscenes. And it's like, oh, we can use actors. And, oh, geez. I think that was a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
At the time, I don't think anyone was complaining. It's just looking back, we're like, oh, what were these people thinking?
Well, yeah, so there's a lot more plot in all of the rest of the Dark Forces games, but I think that Dark Forces is more challenging and is a harder game than Jedi Knight. Especially as you get into the later levels when you're fighting like the Phase 3 Dark Troopers or whatever, and like the General Mock fight is like whatever his name is. That's really tough. Or at least it was when I was like 12. I haven't played that game in a long time. I just remember it being like really, really hard, and that Jedi Knight was like not quite as hard. Oh boy, we always go down these paths. So. Well, we got a random question, we got some Marble Hornets, we got a main topic this week, and we got to talk about a movie. But before we get to those, I got one last piece of follow-up. It's how I did on my scorecard for WWDC.
Right.
I made predictions, right?
Yeah, I saw as the news was coming out that you did pretty well, I think.
I did pretty well. I got everything right, mostly. So the things that I predicted they would talk about were the things they talked about. Hardware refreshes, iOS 6, Mountain Lion, boom, done. That was obvious. They did not roll out an Apple TV or anything Apple TV, so
didn't even talk about it.
Didn't even talk about it at the beginning. So I'm going to talk when we get to our main topic, which is Surface and Microsoft. I'm going to talk about presentations and like how to do good ones and how to do bad ones.
By the way, since we covered E3, I've read so many articles that complained about Nintendo just covering Pikmin at the beginning.
Right? Oh my god.
Everyone is like, what were they doing?
That's just like a no-brainer. It's just like, what were you thinking? I don't even want to go there. So the way that Apple always structures their keynotes is they start out with like, we're going to update you on the business. And they cover a lot of their products, and they didn't cover Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
Probably intentionally. You okay there?
Yeah.
So no Apple TV.
Nope.
I said that there would not be any hardware stuff for iOS 6. They would just demo it on stuff that looks like a 4, even if it's not. And yep, that's what they did. And there wasn't even any sneaky like, and in iOS 6 we're gonna have like resolution independence because of blah blah blah. I don't know what.
No hints towards the iPhone 5.
No iPhone 5 hanky panky. And I would say they might have covered it in stuff that was under NDA, under non-disclosure agreement with the developers during the rest of the week, but I also think we would have heard about it by now. Like, someone would have broken NDA by now, and we'd start hearing hints. So I would say that the fact that we haven't heard anything about
a couple journalists broke things that they weren't supposed to about things like the 3D maps and stuff. So if they didn't break stuff about iPhone 5, it probably wasn't there.
Right. So, they had a whole week of developers learning how to do stuff, and, there's 5,000 of them. Now, maybe none of them broke their NDA and they were all good, but a week ago, all of those videos went up online, and you only need to pay $100 to enroll in the Apple Developer Program, and you can watch those videos. And, like, if there was something in there, we'd know about it.
Right.
So that makes me think, maybe there's not going to be maybe the form factor will change slightly. Like, we'll get a thinner iPhone, but it might be the same screen. So Apple has been known to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I said, so this is the thing that I was kind of wrong, but I was kind of right. I said that they would definitely be changing the form factor of their laptops, and we did get a new one, but they also have the old ones.
Right.
So that's the Retina map. Oh man, we're going to talk about this too. It has a really dumb name. It's called the MacBook. It's called the MacBook Pro with Retina display. That's why I think that's its name.
What?
The MacBook Pro with Retina display. Actually, I'm going to go to the Apple website right now and complain about the title of this computer. It's called the MacBook Pro with Retina display. That's its name. What? Apple? It couldn't be like the Retina MacBook Pro? I'm not even trying here.
The iRetina?
Maybe. I don't know.
The iRet.
Man. I mean, they sort of painted themselves into a corner by, having it called, it's the MacBook Pro. And they want... The MacBook Pro is kind of slid, and it's becoming much more of a consumer product. Alicia has a MacBook Pro, and I'm sure she uses some of the Pro features, but, it's like... She bought it as a consumer product. So they can't call it like a MacBook Pro Pro.
Pro Plus.
Pro Plus, and they want it, and apparently there is, or they think there's brand equity. All of this stuff I'm going to talk about later when we talk about Surface. They think that there's something about Retina display that people like, so they kind of want to get people talking about that, so they didn't call it like a MacBook Pro HD or something.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? I promise never to, or very rarely to say like, well, Steve would have blah. And I'm not going to do it now, but like, this seems like a stupid decision. Someone somewhere should have said this name is not very good. And finally, I said that they would refresh all of their products with the new 3rd generation Core processors, and they did that. And I tweeted about this, but only Apple could sound sort of like magnanimous about including USB 3 in their product when it comes on the damn motherboard for the chips that they're putting in.
They didn't actually do anything to do it. It was already there.
It's there. It comes for free. If you're using these Ivy Bridge process chips, it's like it has USB 3 on on the logic board, and they're like, and we put USB 3. It's fast. And
They're like, at no extra charge, we'll throw in.
It's like, of course you.
That's like it's like when you go get a new car, and they're like, we'll throw in a free tank of gas. You're like, I hope so. I'm buying a car.
And Apple being Apple, not only did they say, and we've put USB 3 on this, you can put lightning fast, whatever, they also had to get a jab in at everybody else. So, they show their svelte little MacBook Air. It's all tiny and beautiful and elegant. And, it's got, it's like, yeah, and we've got USB 3. And it's like, and, the way we do USB 3 is different from the way the other guys do USB 3. And they show some big, giant, ugly looking laptop. And it's like, and, this port's USB 3 and this port's USB 2. And they color code them, and it's all ugly and stupid, and other products suck. Apple rules. They always have to be like, it's like, yeah, I know that we took like 3 years to put USB 3 on our products, but ours are so much better. And it's like, come on, Apple. Like, they have so many legitimate reasons to be like, we are better, but it's like when they do it with the freaking USB 3 port, it's like, you guys are just like,
you're killing your cred, man.
Right, exactly. They're going from, we have a retina display that is literally like going to melt your brain, and also we've got USB 3 and we do it better than the other people.
You can't turn everything up to 11. You got to pick and choose.
Yeah. So when Phil Schiller actually spent a minute and a half talking about that during the keynote, I was just like, bah!
You were like, boo.
And people in the comments are going to be like, Carter is trash talking Apple, but he loves Apple. I don't love everything about Apple. I just like the things that they do right.
First and foremost, Carter's a complainer. Second, yes. He is a fanboy.
Exactly. Those things, there's a tension there, Okay. We got a random question. We have a truly bizarre random question.
Yeah, this is about as random as they get.
This is living up to the randomness of random questions. Comes from Ron. The question is, would you drink cheese? Sorry. Would you drink cheese-flavored water? Bacon?
As in, would you drink cheese-flavored water or bacon-flavored water? My dad drinks a lot of flavored water. He's that guy who buys, like, peach, and I think peach is his favorite, but that's the only one I can think of right now. I think every single time I've had a flavored water, I've thought to myself, I wish this weren't flavored. Like, I've never liked flavored water. And cheese or bacon, I would definitely try it, like the same way that I've tried purple ketchup, but I don't know if it would be like my new go-to drink.
Wait, pause this. Not literally, but purple ketchup, what is that?
Heinz had this thing a couple years ago. I don't know if you can still find it or not, but they came out with different colors of ketchup to try and like engage kids. And they had, in addition to red, obviously, they had green and purple, and that might have been it.
No, they had green, purple, pink, orange, teal, and blue. That is disgusting.
It was nothing except a color. Like
I know, but it's un-American.
It wasn't like cheese-flavored water. It was just regular ketchup that was a different color.
Oh, there's like pictures here. If you Google purple ketchup,
I will put it in the link dump.
If you look at it in the image search, there is like a very lovingly taken. I'm gonna send this specific one to Shawn. A very lovingly taken product shot of purple ketchup in little the things that you. What am I talking about?
Little,
the things that
like Dixie cup things?
Yeah, the teeny tiny ones for ketchup. And it's purple, and it looks like the end of the earth. It looks like it just looks wrong. I'm just sending this to Shawn right now. It looks like toxic waste. Because ketchup is actually a really bizarre texture, and it's kind of like looks kind of like a plasma.
So once you make it colors other than red, it's gonna be it's gonna stand out.
Right. Because ketchup, it's like, how does it not turn watery? And it's just kind of, oh geez. I'm
surprised you missed that cultural phenomenon.
Before this podcast, I didn't know that this existed, and now I feel like my world is like slightly less good.
So what about you, cheese-flavored water?
It would depend on the flavor of cheese that the water was flavored.
Oh, see, that's a good point.
Right? Like, it's
Are we talking about like brie or?
Yeah, like some really stinky, weird cheese. I'd be like, I don't know about that. I would try bacon flavored water because I love bacon.
It's interesting that he asked. I don't know why he thought of bacon, or if that was just something he thought of while he was thinking of cheese. But my wife has pointed out to me last weekend we went to what's called the Fancy Food Show. It is this giant food convention. I mean, giant. I'm going to find 17,000 exhibitors every year in Washington, D.C.
Holy moly!
Yes.
How have I not heard about this?
I don't know.
What
80 countries. 80 countries come. It's insane. And we went there and we noticed like specific trends. Like there were a lot of popcorns. Like a lot of people are trying different brands of popcorn and stuff. And one of the things that we noticed that Alicia had already told me about was there is a huge bacon fad right now.
That's true.
We are in the middle of a huge bacon fad. And she said her coffee shop actually is trying bacon syrup for their coffee so that they can have bacon flavored coffee.
Well, the Burger King is selling bacon ice cream.
Bacon ice cream sundaes, yes.
Yeah. I've been, not to sound pretentious, although I am, and this is ridiculous, I have been a fan of bacon in strange things for a long time. This fad can come and go. I will still love bacon. Like, I have had bacon in ice cream before. It's delicious. And one of my a treat that I love is like caramelized candied bacon.
Okay,
like
yeah. Sweet and salt tend to go together well.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate covered bacon. Try it. I'm telling you.
So, Ron, we want chocolate bacon flavored water.
I don't know. So one thing about water, I don't have it here, and I've gone so long, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I have do you know what a soda stream is?
No.
So I have one back in Ohio, and I don't know if I'm just gonna wait until I move, or if I'm just gonna get another one. But a soda stream is a device where you have like a carafe or whatever. You have like a vessel for water.
Yeah.
It can hold like a quart. And then you've got these canisters of carbon dioxide, and you can carbonate your own water. You can create like seltzer.
Okay.
It's really cool. And also, since you have direct control over how much you can carbonate it, you can like make carbonated water much more carbonated than you can get like on the street.
If you go out to a restaurant and you only want water, would you get still or sparkling water?
If I was by myself, I would only get sparkling, but I always feel like a jackass when I'm like, I'd like
really?
Sparkling. Yeah. I don't like still water.
I think I think it's pretty typical in most of the rest of the world, sparkling water.
That's where I learned about it. I didn't even know about it until I was a junior in high school, and I was in London and Edinburgh. And when you get water, they ask you sparkling or still, and I'm like, what?
That's a question?
Well, I want water. What is this? And they're like, sparkling water, and I'm like, oh, like Perrier or whatever, which I do drink. And they're like, yes, you can get sparkling water. And I remember as a group, we were like, well, let's try this sparkling water. I want to know what this is like. And we're like, this is magical.
I can't do it. It's fine if I have it. Like I'm not going to complain, but given the choice, I'm going to go still. I don't know if it's just because I love soda. I don't have a problem with soda, so I don't know what it is. It's just that it doesn't have a flavor, I guess.
Well, I will tell you, putting some citrus in there, it makes a darn fine, refreshing drink.
Okay.
Old, like, sort of lukewarm, sparkling water with lemon and lime in it, poured over a lot of ice. Ugh, it's great. Should try it. SodaStream's only like $80. The cartridges are a little pricey, but they also come with like their own flavor packages. And if you ever do go down that road, don't use those. They're bad. They're no good. You got to use your own stuff.
Okay.
An experiment that someone attempted, but I did not participate in a couple of years back. A buddy of mine who had a SodaStream, he carbonated a bunch of gin. Apparently, it was quite an experience. Be safe, kids. Don't carbonate your booze, and don't drink if you're not 21 in America. Okay, so thank you for the random question, Ron. I think this was a very fun conversation. We have something we want to talk about before we get to surface, and that is Marble Hornets.
What's Marble Hornets?
What's Marble Hornets? We haven't talked about that in a long time. Remember when we used to have like 50-minute segments of Marble Hornets?
Well, yeah, it was a whole segment for a while while we caught up.
Yeah.
And now that we're caught up, we're like, why is it taking so long?
Yeah, so the past couple weeks when we've talked about Marble Hornets, we've just been like whiny.
Well, to be honest, I think the whole community got kind of whiny. I don't think it was just us.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
everyone else was complaining. Suddenly it got plotting.
Right. So if we want to be honest with you, our audience, yes, we were a little whiny, but if we want to be, honest with the community and with Troy and the crew, they've been giving us kind of crap for a little while. Maybe not crap, but it's been very slow. And now we had a really great entry and a very interesting to the arc response.
Yes.
Entry 59. So it finally happened. They finally have had a blow up between Tim and Jay.
I thought you were going to say it finally happened. The fourth wall came down.
Well,
because that happened too.
Yes, that's true. Now, this isn't the first time that's happened in Marble Hornets, though. There was Alex mentioned the YouTube video.
That is true. That is true.
But this was a much more direct, confrontation. Much Tim was really in Jay's face about both the fact that he's posting this on YouTube and that he's a psychopath who just films everything, which we've said before.
Yes, we have.
Did someone on Twitter said oh my god, this video, it's like they were listening to Shawn and Carter have a podcast and just did an entry about all of the things that they said. It's
I think it was Sam. I think he.
I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. And it's true because we've said this. It's why is he putting this on YouTube and why does he always just film stuff? He's crazy. He's stupidly brave. He's and this entry was like a love letter to Shawn and me.
Yeah, it addressed everything that we'd been questioning about his motives. It didn't really answer the questions, but it addressed them.
It brought them up in the series, in the canon. So this is now something that Jay and the plot, the plot is going to have to deal with. He's probably never thought these thoughts before, because he's so one of the key lines in this, Tim calls Jay a psychopath. Jay might be a psychopath.
There's probably a little bit of evidence.
Mm-hmm. He's crazy. He has been doing this for years. The plot of Marble Hornets spans from 2009 when he posted that first video. That chronology is in the real world is the same for Jay. So he's been doing this for 3 years. And this is about a project, events that occurred in 2006. And he's still
totally
100% this is his life.
Yeah, that seems to be all he does.
Yeah.
Who knows how he's making a living or finding food.
Right. I mean, yeah.
It's all that YouTube revenue.
Right. He doesn't appear to have a job. And he breaks into people's houses. He's broken into numerous houses. He steals things. He's stolen a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he documents this crazy thing and shares it with the world on YouTube. That's narcissistic and somewhat psychotic sounding. And I'm this is something I'm just thinking of now, and we're going to talk about something that blew our minds in a little bit. But we kind of have to take him at his word that some of the things that he's seen actually happened, and that he has not been manipulating us in some way.
Right. We have to accept that these videos are presented in the way that they actually occurred, but I mean, there's editing, and I look at the editing on an editor's level, and I see that these videos have been tampered with, and we just assume that it's, part of the story, but who knows?
Right, exactly. We don't know. I mean, if we accept that Tim and Alex and Jessica and other people are sort of faithful and not they're not acting, at a higher level. We know that these are all just actors.
Right.
But,
Shush.
Shush. Right. It's like, oh, this isn't real. His real name is Troy, and they live in Georgia. If we accept that, then we know that something weird has been going on, but like we don't know all the details, and like, why do we trust Jay? I mean, he's just some random guy on the internet.
We trust him because he's the narrator, and he's the only window we get into this world.
Yeah, exactly. So Tim blows up. Jay had tweeted and said at the beginning of this video that he was going to explain everything to Tim, but when they meet in this parking lot, I just love this. Tim just runs at him and just punches him, like probably in the face, just like knocks him out, and his camera falls. And he's like, "You've been putting this on YouTube, and like, I learned about all this stuff. I watched all the videos, and I'm crazy, and you brought this into my life, and I hate you, and you're a psychopath, and go to hell." And it's awesome. It's awesome.
The way that the video is shot is pretty cool, because I don't know if it's because they wanted to make sure they got it all in one take, and so they didn't show the characters' faces. But basically, they heightened the entire suspense of the scene by not showing you what's going on. The camera's just on the ground.
Yes.
And you just see these feet shuffling around, and it's trying to focus, and it's like it's going out and coming in and going out and coming in. And then there's like a bug crawling along the ground for a little while, and it's just, it was a very well done video.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, well, I have two things to say about that. Well, one, I wonder if the audio was separate from the video.
See, I just assumed that they did it that way so that it could be separate.
Yeah, so that they could get the best performance, mostly out of Tim.
Right.
And then, do whatever they needed to do with the video. And then maybe, like, have a bug wrangler or something.
I don't know how they did that. I was watching it on my phone the first time, and I started seeing that, and I was like, is that on my phone? No, that is actually a bug on the... How did they do that?
Could have just been a happy coincidence.
Could have been.
Could have been. And two, they do this a lot in Marble Hornets, where they have, maybe, they're all film students, and maybe they learned this in film school and then have just used it well, but they're really good, and they do this frequently where they put the camera low, and when the camera is low and everything seems bigger and above you, that increases your anxiety. It increases the tension just like automatically. They do that a lot, and I'm like, yeah, good job.
And then you have a character just screaming his head off. Yeah, super high tension.
Very, yeah. It's if you want to get into the touchy-feely psychology of it, it's like, hiding under your bed and from something, because you're like on the ground and you can't see things, and then like you're going to feel anxious because you can't see things. They're very good at that. And this is getting back to back to some of the roots of some of the stuff that they've been doing. So I really like this entry. I played it back at like full HD blown up, looking at the little lodge in the background to see if I could see anything. I didn't see anything.
No, I don't think anyone's found anything. I looked on the forum and stuff, and I don't think anyone's looking there for anything.
Yeah. So Tim doesn't want anything to do with Jay. Jay is alone, and he has indicated that he's going to go back to that hospital and see what's in the tunnel.
Right.
So
the tunnel the hooded guy disappeared down.
Right. This is a very low moment for everybody. I think, if you want to game out the plot, Tim is probably going to be away for a while. Jay is going to get in more and more trouble, and then Tim will return. That's probably what will happen. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm interested again.
Yeah.
So then we get the To The Arc response, which is called reference, which you broke down for us in Molasses Hornets.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually been on top of a To The Arc response. Like, I saw it go up, and I looked at it, and then I immediately went to Unfiction and followed along with people as they were breaking it down. I looked at it on a spectrogram, whatever. I looked at it on that before anyone had on the Unfiction forums, and unfortunately for me, there was nothing in it this time. I got all excited. I was like, ooh, I could be the first one to... Oh, shoot, there's nothing there.
Aw.
Too bad.
It's a short one. It's 29 seconds?
Yeah.
It's under 30 seconds. It's very loud. And it accomplishes at least one thing. You should share your thoughts since you've really deeply kind of torn it apart. We know that To the Arc is whoever is running this channel, whatever group, they are they're indicating that they're following Tim and Jay, right?
Yeah.
Whether someone was there or they just took the audio from the previous video, they're letting us know, like, hey, we're following you.
They've observed it.
Right. And then we have so the dialogue is all Tim screaming at Jay. And then we have a little bit of text, and some of it had to be decoded.
Yeah, they put a nice little anagram at the end of numbers that you had to dissect. And what was the final thing that it worked out to be?
His lies in the dark.
Yes. Look to the origins.
Mm-hmm.
His lies in the dark. And I don't know. I guessed at it on my video, and no one, I guess no one who's looked at it yet is a big enough fan of the series to guess with me. I don't know whose origins they're talking about.
Is it origins or origin? I think it's origin. Look to the origin.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring it up. So all the text they give us is, oh wait, and there was text in the description. And I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that. All the text we get in the video is, look to the origin. Truth with light is at the end.
That's right.
And then we think, I didn't decode any of this, I'm just taking this from the unfiction people and you, is his lies in the dark.
Yes.
Okay, so I have no fully formed theory, but I wanted to point out that origin has multiple meanings. So origin can mean the beginning, right? Look to the beginning,
right?
Or look to someone's beginning. Origin also means 0 on a number line.
Oh, damn it! Why didn't I? Well, 0 also has a couple other things going on in Marble Hornets, doesn't it?
Right. So look to the origin. So when you think about 0 on a number line, how many times have we seen that damn 0 thing with the X in it?
Right.
So are they saying, like, look at all the times there's been an X circle in Marble Hornets, and maybe there's something related to all of those? I don't know. But I'm not surprised that most people didn't think that, because I think about math every day.
Uh-huh.
And when I origin, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's 0.
0.
Origin is 0. So I just wanted to put that out there, that origin doesn't just mean beginning. Origin also means 0.
Isn't that interesting?
Isn't that interesting? So look to the origin. Truth with light. I don't know what that's supposed to mean at all. So
it stands in contrast to his lies in the dark.
His lies in the dark. Truth with light. His lies in the dark.
And Maskey does make an appearance. Tim's Maskey.
Right.
At least his mask does.
Has anyone speculated where this hallway is?
There's been lots of speculation. I don't think anyone knows. And cleaning up the image doesn't do anything to show you. It's so dark. You can't really pull anything out of it.
I don't have any good speculation on that. I haven't seen the unfiction forum on this, so I'm. It kind of reminds me of the hospital, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. It's wide.
Yeah.
So it's not a house, probably. I don't know. I have no idea. My only thought was the origin thing. Also, the description is "do not fail." It's "do not," and then underneath it, "fail."
It's always seemed like To the Arc is trying to talk to Jay, so that message has got to be for him.
Right. So look to the origin, whatever that means. Truth with light, his lies in the dark, and don't fail. Kind of sounds a little final, you know?
Well, I hope so. This is the last season, right?
Well, yeah, and also just like here is your direction. Go do this. We're also assuming that this message is for Jay, but could be for Tim.
Could be.
I don't know. And his lies in the dark? I don't know. I have no idea. Alex, Jay, Tim. Probably not Jessica, but other than that, I don't know.
Probably not her. I also thought it was interesting with the posting of this entry where Tim blows up at him. It seems like Jay has disappeared even more than he normally does on Twitter. It just he said that entry 59 was going to be uploaded, but then he didn't even like tweet the link. He to the ARC response went up. He didn't tweet the link. Like, it seems like, I don't know if Tim scared him out of doing it or if he's just being lazy. Like, I'm reading this as Jay, not Troy. Like, Jay is doing something by not doing something.
Yeah, I mean, like, has he been sort of shaken by Tim and his accusations? Like, you know, you're a psychopath.
Is he like, oh my God, am I a psychopath?
Right. I mean, Tim says something that I think it's not verbatim, but it's very close to something that one of us said. Alex points a gun in your face and your first instinct is to film it, you psychopath.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like when you hear it that way, that's kind of tough to hear.
It does seem kind of weird, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that it's totally plausible that his character is sort of undergoing some changes. And maybe we're seeing that on Twitter, or maybe he's just lazy.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Before we move on, we got one more thing that I have to share with you all. And I hope all of you are just sitting down because this is something. So I was following for the first couple pages the unfiction thread for the entry. I went to YouTube and I'm subscribed to Marble Hornets and I saw entry 59 and I'm like, oh my God, the entry is up. So I happened to be like right there at the forefront, like when it got up there. So I was able to see the first couple pages of the unfiction forum. And someone posted something that blew my mind. Blew my mind.
So yeah, sit down, everyone.
Sit down. Okay. This is what this guy posted. I take no credit for this. I didn't think of this. And the fact that Shawn and I have been paying so much attention to this series and we haven't thought about this is like shame on us. Since the operator wiped Jay's mind in the hotel in season 2, chronologically, since that happened, the operator has not made an appearance in the Marble Hornets universe.
Yeah. My mind was pretty blown.
Right.
It's part of the problem, of course, was that it's so out of order all the time. You just stop thinking about like when exactly certain things happened, and it never occurred to me that the last time we've seen him was that long ago.
Yeah, because everything that happened after that was all of the videos in season 2, and then Maskey and has showed up a little bit in that post. He basically drove Jay out of the hotel.
Right.
And then Jay moved back to that town where Tim is, and he's been interacting with Tim, no operator. So I don't. Someone did the breakdown on how much time that's been, but it's been like a year and a half since the operator has done anything in these guys' lives.
And no wonder he thinks that he's a psychopath. He's been pursuing this thing for 18 months since it left. We've heard Tim getting sick, like the Slendy sickness seems to be happening, but we haven't seen him.
Right.
We haven't seen any interference from him.
Right. And we've seen Maskey. We've seen this Hoodie character. No operator. Crazy.
That's so bizarre.
Which makes me think.
I bet that Troy and the guys were really happy when they saw that someone finally pointed that out.
I bet they're like, yes, good. And also, that just screams that the operator is going to be part of the big like finale.
Right.
You know, someone somehow in some way. I'm going to predict this right now. If it doesn't happen, whatever. People can call me on it. They'll forget. They will indicate in the show the revelation that dude had. Tim or someone will say like, this guy hasn't even been around since blah, 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 and you're still whatever. So that we have it in our heads so that when he does show up, it's more powerful.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that when he does show up, he will be more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah,
They,
yeah.
they got to pull something out of their hats.
I don't know. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.